I mean, you can go anywhere in the city and you'll like what you eat.
Clap your hands now, people, clap now. Clap your hands now, people, clap your hands. Clap your hands now, people, clap now. Clap your hands now, people, clap your hands. Clap your hands now, people, clap now. Clap your hands now, people, clap your hands.
It's very tough in the United States to find a culture that's very like celebratory.
Never been to Mardi Gras. I would explain it as the ultimate joy compiled with chaos and excitement, and your feet hurt and gotta get a drink.
Happy Mardi Gras!
Don't be scared. I just want to play a game with you.
After you lose everything, you realize that connections are everything. Mardi Gras is essentially like the peak of let the good times roll. You live your life, you have your struggles, you have hurricanes, you have flooding, you have tornadoes. But Mardi Gras, in a sense, you get to drop all of your inhibitions, hide behind a persona, hide behind a mask, and just live out your personality.
Good evening and welcome to the Haunt Hour with with your host, Dan Doble, Susie Fleesick, and Troy Crivello. Join us tonight as we talk about all things haunting and Halloween during the Haunt Hour.
Welcome everyone to season 2, episode 1 of the Haunt Hour.
Yeah.
I'm one of your hosts, Dan Doble. I am joined here with Troy Voodoo Crivellone and Susie Q. What's up, guys? How's everything going?
Hey. Yeah.
It is
here.
March 1st.
That's right.
I'm not sure why Troy's wearing all this fun Mardi Gras stuff, but that's
That
right.
Tuesday, buddy. And I'm in Oregon where it sucks.
And it's not warm. And
Yeah.
it's probably raining.
It is. It is very raining.
So there's a surprise. Troy says it never rains, or it barely rains up there. But when I went out to visit him, it rained literally every day. So and everything's always green. So
Yes.
I guess I can't really complain about that.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. It actually rains more in Pittsburgh than anywhere in the United States, I believe.
Shut up. Really?
I swear to you. Look it up.
Okay. So is that
We're like
is
one
we
or
have
two.
to fact check that? I feel
Fact
like we need to
checking.
fact
We're
check
like
that.
1 or 2, I promise. Not lying.
More than like Washington and Oregon? Really?
Yes.
I know Washington gets
Look it up.
like rain almost
Really?
every day. Like they get like
Yeah.
that little annoying drizzle and it's stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
But I
have to
think
fact
like
check that because I feel like being in the haunted house industry, everybody's always out to make shit up. So
No.
I'm not
No.
making
Checking
anything
that
up.
shit.
I
No.
promise. No, I think we
Dan.
get more like inches of water, not like well, maybe it is days. Look it up, I swear.
Dan,
we'll find
Susie's
we'll find
haunt
it.
is the #1 haunt in the Tri-County area of the 7
Absolutely.
states that are
And
around
it's also
her.
the scariest too,
Number
right?
scariest as voted on by Better Homes and Gardens. Done.
Yes.
Okay. Come
Yes.
on. And the
Fair
listing
enough.
came out in
I
August.
apologize. My bad.
Before we even
I
opened
apologize.
on
Right.
our first year.
Yes.
That's Yep.
Voted on by the people.
Yes. Oh,
Martha Stewart living.
So what's new, guys? It's been a couple minutes since we've all been
Has been.
been
Yep.
together talking. We've been planning on trying to make this show better, but
it's
it
not my
is what it
fault.
is.
It's not my fault. Troy, is it your
Anything.
fault? Is it your fault, Troy?
We got a cool
It's just-
background. So we got that.
Yeah.
It's totally my fault. I'll take blame.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Totally your fault.
I'm stocking up just in case anybody else is wondering. The world's coming to an end,
Yep.
and I have everything
I was
I
gonna
need
say
for 2 days.
QREM.
Just in case
Oh.
anybody's wondering, I am remodeling my kitchen, and everything back here is not a bunker. Stockpiling for the war that's coming.
Mhm.
This is
Yep.
just me living out of my office / sunroom because I have no pantry. So that's what I've got going on.
Yep.
Susie, anything exciting happening in the last couple months? You went to Fear Expo. How was that?
I did go to Fear Expo. It was really fun. Like, yeah, it was okay. So I can't go to Trans World because of things with my family. So we can't go
Mhm.
this year, boo. But we were like, we want to go to a show. Let's go to Fear Expo. It's the first year. Honestly, it was a really, really good show for us because I feel like a lot of times when you're at like a show, there's a lot of people in the way, and you're kind of like, I want to spend money, move out of my way. I'm not just here to bullshit.
Yep.
And we didn't have that at Fear Expo. It wasn't the busiest show. I didn't seem to mind it. I'm also not a vendor. So I did ask the vendors, and the vendors there, every one of them I talked to said they had a really good show and better than they expected. What did they expect? I have no idea. But they had a better than expected
minimal,
show. But yeah, that was, my God, that was back in January. I feel like it was so long ago. And the town was a neat little town. We did not stay at the hotel right next to the convention center because I had to bring my dog because I just have to have my dog. So
Good excuse.
Right.
Good
they
reason.
didn't have any pet-friendly hotels close by. We literally were like 8 minutes up the road at a beautiful, like
Yeah.
brand new hotel, and it was great. And they treated us like wonderful there. And yeah, the whole experience was just really good. We had a really good time. Definitely just a smaller show in
Yeah.
the whole aspect of, everything, but a fun show. I had a good time. A bunch of my crew went because it just happened to be at a good time of the year for us to all be able to go and meet there. So we had fun just being together, and I bought a ton of stuff. I spent probably more money at this show than any Transworld show
No
that I've
shit.
been to on stuff,
Yeah.
like, at the actual show, not
Yeah.
because like I feel like at Transworld, like we bring the kids and we bring, we feed
Yeah.
everybody. And this hotel had like breakfast, which was good because the hotel we stay at Transworld doesn't. But so it saves a little bit of money there. But
That's
yeah,
why
it
I'm
was a
saying
great
it's the brewery.
show.
I'm saying it's the
That's why
brewery.
I'm saying
So
it.
the brewery's got free breakfast and free drinks.
Yeah,
And
but
for
can
dinner.
I have? Is it free pets? Is it pet friendly?
Yeah, I believe they're pet
I
friendly.
believe the brewery
Good.
is.
Don't make
The
me
jury's pretty
go.
badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
if I
like-
try and stay at a brewery,
I'd
I
never
would
stay there.
Ever since I stayed at the one at MHC and I got all that stuff, because we don't have breweries out here on the West Coast at all.
Yeah.
And so when I found that at MHC, I was like, every time I go somewhere, I'm like, do they got a brewery? And it's never where I'm going. Like, it's always farther away. I'm like,
But
damn.
I was just in St. Louis 2 weeks ago, for my daughter's club volleyball, and we played at the America Center.
Right.
And for everybody that's watching and wondering about Transworld, we went in there. They had a mask. This is so absurd, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. They had a mask mandate, and masks were required. There were signs everywhere, and there was one security guard at the main entrance going in down the hall where everybody goes to go to Transworld. There was one security guard. The TVs above the hallway doors, they all say masks required, mandatory.
Nobody was wearing them.
Nobody, not a single person.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And I
Nobody
believe
was wearing them. There was a few people, like I grabbed one because I was like, they said masks were required, and there's
Right.
no mask groups at restaurants down in St. Louis area. And that's true because we couldn't get in anywhere to eat as a group, as a team. Which, so FYI, everybody's going down there. I mean, you can still get food. The restaurants are open, but I don't know if they're allowing large groups of people.
Oh.
Is what it is at this point. I don't know if it's.
I know that
changing
we
last couple
reserved,
weeks.
there's a bunch of us that reserved at an Italian place, and we've already reserved.
Okay.
There's like 15 of us. So,
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
so
know
it's,
that
it's something that's going to happen. But I just wanted to say, it was one of those things where I was like, they're saying it, but they're not. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be different. I'm
Yeah.
just
It
going off
is.
of what I was here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They are not really enforcing anything, or they didn't
Yeah.
enforce anything for us. And there was way more people in that building, in the America Center, down in the field, and along the corridor where Transworld originally is. That's all volleyball courts, and it's tens of thousands of people. Like, it's
Right.
ridiculous. It's elbows to buttholes the whole way down, all the way around the corner.
I
And
don't remember there being issues last year with, like, I remember walking around with a coffee in my hand and my mask down
Right.
for most of Transworld and being okay.
Well, it's because the America Center is run by the city. And so the
Yes.
city had a mask mandate, even though at the
Right,
time,
the city
like some
is-
of the outside parts didn't. But I know
Right.
as of Monday, as of yesterday, the mask mandate in St. Louis is gone.
Oh,
Oh, that's good
In
news.
the
That's
entire
probably
city.
why they didn't give a shit about it. I mean, poop about
They
it.
knew.
Probably.
Because they knew it was on
Transworld
its way
hasn't
out.
made an announcement yet, so we'll wait until they say it.
Yeah,
and we'll
which
go
is
with
fine.
what they
I
say.
just wanted to talk about it because I
Yeah.
had something to say, and that's I got
Yeah.
nothing more to say. So, Troy,
Yes.
what's going on in your neck of the woods? What's going on with you?
I am knee deep in everything and everything. I'm
That is a
working
very
on
broad statement.
the terror tours. I'm working on Northwest stuff. I'm working on
horror.
stuff for my home haunt. And it's not really a news flash, but I'm in the process of finalizing the process of getting to the process of moving.
what does that even mean?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's a scary thing. It's scary to move from your hometown that you've lived in for 40 years.
Shit. Yeah.
So
What's your like? When are you moving? Like, what is your?
Like,
It
do you have a
will be-
timeline?
next
Is
summer.
are you releasing where you're moving to? Because I mean,
Yeah. Here's
I
the
am,
really
I
Texas.
am.
the secret.
And
I
our
know
and our and it'll probably make our guest want to leave the show because it's gonna
All nine
be
of them right now.
it's gonna be Dallas, Texas.
Awesome. That's awesome. That I can see Alan in the corner.
What you saw, what you didn't see in the green room.
It's
But yeah,
Alan jumping for joy.
we have we have talked to a large amount of people there, and after I went there and to do the Texas Haunters convention, seeing the hospitality of just the town and the city. I mean, everybody knows, people are, nice in Texas, that's just the thing. But there is a large amount of reasons of why we're leaving Portland. One of them is what you see all over the news about us. It's closing in on us. And it's getting to the point where it's too dangerous to like take my kids out places and stuff like that. And it's the housing market here it's 500,000 is the median price for a like 2-bedroom 1-bath house. Like
you go to Texas and get like a freaking mansion for that.
Yeah.
Right. So we rent, and if we were to be asked to leave this house, which I have talked to my landlord, and he is not going to do that at any time, but he's also a real estate agent and money talks. And at any time he could tell us you have 30 days or 90 days. He already said if he did that, it would be you have until you can find a place to live to move out. But I obviously can't abuse that. But if he were to kick us out, we would have to go live in an apartment somewhere and not be able to do anything. And it's just, so there's a large amount of negatives in the column of staying, and there's a large amount of positives to leave. And I just haven't told my mom yet.
Yeah.
Really?
And my mom loves my daughter and loves my son. And that would be, my daughter is the only granddaughter in the entire family. And my mom has been waiting for a daughter since she had me and my brothers and they had boys and I had the girl. And so,
where does your mother
would be
live?
a tough conversation.
Does she live in your town?
Yeah, she lives like 20 minutes away. So, but she's retired. So is my dad, and they have a nice RV and they can drive. And I already said we'll come back for every. Well, I will say that we will come back for every Christmas because the majority of all of our family lives here. Same with my wife's family. So, yeah, that is the plan.
Troy's going to Dallas.
Yep.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, you're closer to me. You'll be closer to me now. You're only like 14 hours away, 16 hours away instead of 28.
Dallas is such a hub to everything. It's cheaper to fly to other places from Dallas. It's quicker. It's true.
It's true.
I mean, it's
quicker.
7 hours
It's
to New Orleans.
less money. You're absolutely right. Because last time I flew to see you, it was outrageous, and I swear I got stuck to the one guy who still reads the fucking paper.
I mean, see, it's only
some
7
of the lady
hours.
that was crocheting. It was like ridiculous. What is this?
That's New Orleans. It's from Dallas to New Orleans. It's 7 hours.
Look at that.
I can go there on Mardi Gras.
You can grease the poles.
I can
a pole greaser. Look at you. Look at you. Get down there, grease those poles.
Yeah,
I'd vote for you, big guy.
I know.
Anyway, let's get on to the show here.
Yeah.
We are
I agree.
This is our first episode of season 2. And how else open it than to bring on the man of the hour.
Yeah.
Mr. Alan Hops. Let me bring him in here. Yeah, there he is.
Hey,
look at that.
Hi.
I tried to give you a little lead time.
I was working. I was cleaning a mold. So yeah. It's Transworld season. You must use every minute.
That's right.
You should. Yes,
multitasking.
So we are lucky to have you tonight.
Yes. So for everybody that's watching, or for people that don't know, this is Mr. Alan Hops. Alan, can you give us a little bit of a elevator pitch on who you are? For those people that don't, I mean, we're talking elevators, so 30 seconds, go.
No one of consequence. No. All right. So I'm a haunted house guy. I do haunted house stuff, and I've done it forever. I'm a haunted house actor, and I have a YouTube channel where I make stuff and I help other people make stuff. And I run a haunted house in Texas, Dark Hour, Troy's new workplace. And
I've been told that a few times already.
I just claimed that right away. And I have Stilt Beast Studios where I make stuff and I sell things to haunted houses and theme parks and stuff all over the world, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I love haunted houses. That's it.
If it has anything to do with haunting and haunted attractions, you have either done it or you know about it, and you can answer the questions.
Probably. And I also am really good at making stuff up. So if I don't know, I'll lie.
He'll bullshit his way through it.
Yeah. The first time I think before we even get into who Alan Hops is and start from the beginning and talk to Alan about all the fun little details, I think the three of us should decide when the first time we met or figured out who Alan Hops is. Because for those that are watching or new to the industry, Alan Hops has been around forever and in the industry.
Yeah,
He's been
that's
around
fair.
forever
Yeah.
in the industry. And if you somehow his conversations or his videos are usually brought up in some sort of conversation. So I think I'm gonna start with Troy.
Okay.
Troy, when was the first time you learned about this man named Alan Hops? I threw you on the spot because this is totally
probably it would be the first skeleton corpsing with the Namtha, which has now become a favorite word of our haunt because we can't find Namtha here in Oregon. Like it's really hard to find for some reason.
Yes.
And telling people that that's the word and it's not Nampa and you know, and how to actually say it. Of course, you accentuate the end of that word. And so me and my friend were doing a skeleton and I wanted to corpse one. And I was like, well, I know that there's corpsing videos on YouTube, you know? And so I went on there and his was the first one that showed up and we had it playing in my garage and we were making it and it looked nothing like his, but it looked good for a first time, you know? And now full circle, I will be teaching my daughter how to corpse skeletons this summer. She's super excited about it. We're going to make a couple of skeletons this year. I have so many skeleton parts in the backyard. And so we're going to work on that. And she is very excited about it. So
there's so many different ways to corpse. And that was just one that I hadn't seen anyone else do.
Right.
So I like, well, I'll show. And it's also, I like it's the fastest way.
Yes,
like,
it was fast. It was. Yeah.
Susie, when was the first
me?
time you learned about? Or you want me to go? Because
No, I'll go. Well, first of all, before I answer the question, I want to say this because I've been wanting to say this. I love the fact that Alan, you say haunted houses and not haunted attraction. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but the fact that you say haunted houses is like, I don't know what it does to me, but it does something. We won't go there. But anyway, I just love that. No, he does in all his videos and everything. It's always haunted houses. He doesn't say haunted attraction. And I feel like that word sometimes, that difference between house and attraction separates the people that, because like when you watch one of your videos, you're not just in the haunted attraction industry watching it. And I think that it's all inclusive and it just makes people feel like they can watch it and they can do it. And it's not just for professional haunted. You know what I mean?
It's like a one-on-one versus
it's so yeah. It's really
it
stands out to me a lot. Anyway, so the first time
the word attraction means business, where haunted house is.
And we say it all the time.
Cool. Yeah, it just sounds cool and fun.
I say it like I'm hashtagging that shit all the time, and I'm tired of it. Anyway, so I'd say probably the first time I knew of, I don't know an exact video, but I would say, well, my gosh, probably 2007, 2008, I joined the Haunt World Fright Forum. And I was just like, oh my God, these are my people. And I didn't have a building. I didn't know what I was doing. I had this wonderful dream. And it was probably then that I was the first time because I didn't know anybody in the industry at all. And I was just kind of a girl with a dream. And Troy wasn't even on. Like my Troy wasn't even on. I'd be like, oh my God, there's these people on here that do this. And it was like so new to me because I didn't realize that there were other people out there and there was a whole plethora of videos and how-tos. That was just amazing to me, you know. But
the Fright Forum was like, that was the thing at that point in time. In the beginning, there was the Howl email list, and that was an email that you would get and you would trade. It was like a message board, but it was all through emails, and that's how you would do haunt stuff, you know, and that's how you learned about projects and things. Then the Fright Forum happened, and I have a weird Fright Forum story. I got an email one day, and it said, "Hey, you wrote a book," and I'm like, "I didn't write a book." And this guy, his name is Phil. He said, "No, I went back over the past 3 years, and I pulled every time you answered a question on the Fright forum.
Oh my God.
Because I wanted it for reference, and I'm sending it to you. And now, it's an ebook that
What?
Wow.
I accidentally wrote a book.
Look at you.
Oh my God, you might have been answering like one of my questions.
Maybe.
It's true. Or mine.
When I started, there was no internet. There was the internet did not exist. I did my
Right.
I acted in my first haunted house in 1986 when I was 10, and I
know this
knew
story.
like that night, this is what I'm going to do for a living.
Yeah.
I was 10 in 1986. Anyway, go ahead.
But I knew what I was going to do, and I loved haunted houses, and I found out it's an industry, and wait, I can really do this for a living. And then every job I had was to learn a skill to make me a better haunter. And just everything was pushing in that direction. But yeah, and the amount of stuff that I had to figure out on my own frustrated me. And I felt that I was wasting time. Like I could be better at this, but I have to learn it first. And that's frustrating.
Right.
So I wanted no one else to have those stumbling blocks. You don't have to learn it. Someone else did, and they'll show it to you.
Right.
And I wanted to help.
Yeah.
Yes. And to piggyback off of what Susie said, it was a haunt world thing for me. I remember I don't remember what the question was or what I posted. It was something for outdoor haunts. Cause at the time I worked / managed, I use that word loosely, a haunted attraction that was outdoors. And it was, I don't remember what the question was, but you had responded to me and we're talking about taking old fence panels and cutting pumpkin faces in them and then backlighting them. And it was at some attraction that you had done. And I was like, oh my God, that's a brilliant idea. It's still stuck in my head. I was like, boy, it's so smart. It's so smart. And that just kind of propelled me to look into more of what Alan did.
Did you ever do that?
I never did. No, because I couldn't find fence panels for free. But I thought it was great. And the other one was the first videos that I was watching were you dry brushing the sock masks. I mean,
okay,
that was one of the first ones that I remember because I was like, this is fucking brilliant. It's so easy. And then I did do one and it did not look anything like yours, but
well, you were doing your first one and you watched me do my 300th.
Probably,
that's the difference. That's all.
Yeah, it's definitely the truth. Definitely the truth.
Well, my main I watched that video of the corpsing, but I didn't really understand who I was watching. Like it didn't click with me at that point because I was still new into it and stuff like that. But it was when I posted, and Alan may remember this story, but I posted in one of the groups and I said, I cannot for the life of me figure out how to get siding on a building that is flat, that I don't want to add actual siding to it. I want to use a piece of plywood. I want to make it look like it was siding. And Mary Fettner, messaged me and said, you've got to go onto YouTube and you got to go on this and you watch him do this. And I swear to God, I actually cried because I was like, this is what I was looking for. This is the thing. And I watched it so many times and I still use it to this day. Same. I have several pieces of wood in my backyard and cardboard that are set up for different types of projects, for bricks and all different kinds of things to use this exact technique. And I was like I was so stuck on how to get that look. And it never dawned on me, put a flat piece and spray underneath it. It was just that simple,
Those are my scenic painting videos.
Oh,
those are awesome. Probably some of my favorite to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because each one, maybe I took an hour to paint that.
Mm-hmm.
And I print out some reference pictures,
mm-hmm.
and then I'm just trying to make it look like the picture, and it might not be anything I've ever done before, but let's fumble through it together and we'll figure out how it looks. And I did a whole haunt that was black and white. So when you went through, there was no color. Classic monsters,
so cool.
Wolfman, Dracula, classic, all black and white. And that's what a lot of these scenic painting videos were, because I thought, if it's only 2 colors, how could I screw that up?
Yeah.
Right.
I probably could, but this looks great.
But then, what I've learned to do now is I paint it in black and white and I just paint color over it. and then the white helps it bounce, and I still get my lights and stuff, my shadows, all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, see that QT cup? This is the same one like 12 years later. No,
It's right there.
I drink a lot of beverage. Okay,
Wow.
Right.
lot of fluids.
Stay hydrated, people.
Boy, these are old videos.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, the fireplace one. Yeah.
This is a foam fireplace.
I had to scroll a lot to find these videos on your YouTube page. I had to scroll a lot. My finger.
I have almost 500 videos on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I think my oldest video that people can actually see is probably 2009, 2010.
I believe it's, well, as far as I went back, it was this one.
Yeah, this is a how-to, and I'm actually sculpting and molding, which is a little advanced because I'm sculpting in clay, and then you make a plaster mold. But I wanted to show people that it was pretty easy.
Alan, is that your son? Who is that guy?
Yeah, who's that kid doing that with a brown beard? Who has brown beards anymore? Yeah, that's these are. I'm so old.
No, you're advanced.
I'm so advanced. Yeah, and in all honesty, now looking at this video, I would say I can probably buy a foam brain for like $12. Why would I do this?
Right.
Only if I need 100 of them or 30. Then it makes sense to kind of make your own and start going. But
right.
I love the process. I love making things. Especially when it comes to sculpting and molding, because you're taking clay right out of the earth, and then you're making it a rock over it, which is, clay and rock. And then you fill it with latex, which is tree sap from a rubber tree. There's not a more natural process than that.
Right.
It's so therapeutic to sculpt and mold and make things out of rubber.
I was going to ask you if that's something that, like, if you're not having a good day, do you just like go in the shop and just mold something?
If someone dies, I sculpt something. It's because it's just it's a way to, this thing I can have control over.
Right.
I can't have control over the whole world or what happens to the people that I love or know, but I can control this 10 inches of clay, and that's it's important to kind of recenter yourself. That's not that old, but I still have a very, very dark mustache.
So
let's just like have videos playing while you're,
let's move away from how old Alan is now, and let's go down.
Yeah, there's dust
the
on
younger
me.
Alan. Let's talk about. You said that you got into this when you were 11, 12?
10. I was 10.
10 years old.
Yeah.
I do know a story about the first haunted house you worked at, and when you knew and you scared your teacher,
gym teacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to just elaborate with that, because I love that story. It's one of my favorites.
So I had gone to this haunted house. It was near my grandmother's house, and I said I want to scare people. And I was 10, and I was not like a big 10-year-old, and so in retrospect, highly unsafe. They took ceiling tiles out because it was like an office building. They took ceiling tiles out of the ceiling, and they brought a step ladder, and they made me climb up the step ladder, and they gave me a spider on a fishing pole, and then they took the step ladder away and they left. So I sat up, like the top of a wall is like this wide, but I was 10, so I was fine, and I had enough room where I could sit and my feet would dangle, but they wouldn't hit the drop ceiling. So the ceiling tiles are missing, and I had a spider on a fishing pole, and I would just drop it down and scare people. And like, what a rush for a 10-year-old kid to like make adults run and scream like that. Like, I knew power then, and the gym teacher came through, and apparently he did not like spiders. And so I put it on his, like, it ran down his face, it landed on his chest, and he fell on his back. So I had to grab the wall, and I leaned as far down out of the hole as I could. Very unprofessional, but I was 10, sue me, to make sure that he could see it was me. Like, we made eye contact. I'm like, that's my power move. And then I crawled back up in the ceiling, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this forever.
Oh my God.
and then the dream was a reality.
Yeah.
So
So how did you get to the point where you so you worked in that, and then you had mentioned that you worked at different places to get experience and stuff. What kind of places did you work in between haunts?
Any little okay, so between haunts,
Yeah.
I was an electrician's helper because I wanted to learn how to wire stuff up and electricity.
Mhm.
I never did any plumbing, so still I'm not great with plumbing. But carpenter's helper, and a lot of times the job that I had was so that I could get a location. So like I worked for a roofer because I did a haunted house in the backyard of where they kept all their dumpsters and stuff. I worked for a farmer because I used a bit of his land to do a haunted trail. So those jobs were to build relationships in order to use them for haunt purposes. But then just learning, you help
Yeah.
a house painter for a summer, and learn how to paint, learn how to not have your brush dry out and whatnot, like just all the little tricks. I wanted to learn as much as I could so I could be good at it, because I wanted to go to a haunted house and be useful. And it just, I'm still doing that. I'm still learning things.
Right. And so, what was there any point when you haven't worked or built a haunted house? Like, I mean, was there like high school no haunted houses, or were you building them in high school at your house and stuff like that? Or
Okay, so here is where it gets weird.
Mhm.
I've never done a home haunt. I've
Really?
only ever like worked for pro haunts from 10 on.
Okay.
So no, there was no point where I wasn't haunting from 10 years old on.
Wow.
I would from 12 to 16, I had a gym bag with a Wolfman costume in it. And I would go to a haunted house and I had my Wolfman costume and I said, I want to work at your haunted house, but I'm only going to play the Wolfman and you have to pay me.
Oh my God. You'd be
Nice.
like out the door. I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't use you. Goodbye.
And you know what? That happened to me one time. That happened to me one time. But I worked at that haunt the next year because I made the newspaper in my Wolfman costume for the other haunted house. That back when newspapers were a big deal,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, everything was all about haunting. I graduated high school in 95. Just because of my birthday's in July, I graduated when I was 17.
Oh, right.
So, 17, 15 days after graduation, I moved to Orlando to work at a year-round haunted house there because I set it up the summer before. And I
Nice.
went to that haunt and said, "You guys are a year-round haunted house." And my dream was to be a year-round haunted house actor. Yes. Okay. So I set it up. I went there on vacation with a friend of mine. Um, I did the interview, did all that, got the job, and then I lived in Orlando. I was a year-round haunted house actor. I had achieved my life's dream at the age of 17, and I made $11 an hour. And I
Wow.
thought, I need to do more than this
Right.
because I also enjoy the monies. So I picked up other stuff that was affiliated with haunting. I started making masks and costumes in downtown Orlando. Like my most lucrative job for a very long time was there was a nightclub that was owned by Janie Lane, the lead singer of the band Warrant.
Oh my God. I love
Warrant.
Jane
Nice.
Lane. I'm dating
So
myself. Like, totally. Go ahead.
and it was
I love
Janie
it.
Lane's Sunset Strip. It was on Orange Avenue in downtown Orlando. And there was a Warren Zevon concert one night because they had different concert people in. They were a concert venue too. And Warren Zevon, did the song Werewolves of London.
Right.
So the manager of Janie Lane's Sunset Strip asked Terror on Church Street, do you have anybody who could play a werewolf or a wolf man to give a fun award to Warren Zevon, as part of the stage show, just something fun that we want to do.
Right.
And they said, well, have we got the obsessed weird kid for you? Because again, at Terror on Church Street, I went there with my duffel bag and said, I'm only going to play the Wolf Man and you're going to pay me. And oddly, they said yes. So, but so it's that night. Like he's there, and apparently Ray had told them that Ray told them that, hey, we're gonna have a Wolfman come out because that's your most popular song. And Warren Zevon said, no, I hate that song. I only do it because I have to.
I
And
hate
you
when
won't
artists
you
do
won't let a werewolf get in this building or I'm out.
Oh my God, really?
So yeah. So I'm in my werewolf costume. and he goes, listen, you're not working tonight. I know, I'm sorry. Tell you what, take this stack of free admission flyers and just go out downtown and hand those out. And I'll pay you what I was going to pay you to do the stage thing. Well, it was a free admission to the club, and which was normally a $10 cover charge. And I was in a Zagone Wolfman mask, and I had furry sleeves, and I had taken a Janie Lane Sunset Strip T-shirt and put that on over, so it's werewolf head, furry sleeves, and hands. Later, I added rollerblades, but
Oh my
that
God,
night
yeah.
I got back like 600 flyers. I handed out like 2,000, and 600 of them. He said, the manager said, I've never had that many flyers come back. Because normally I send the bartenders or waitresses out
Yeah.
and they don't care, and
Yep.
they might hand out 100, but
Right.
I'm like, well, that's my job. I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
And I got back 600, and I ended up making from that job. I probably shouldn't say it's probably out of season for taxes. Like that's a long time ago, but I made $1 per flyer that came back. So
This
I
was
ended up
1995.
yeah,
I think you're okay.
95, 96, 97,
I think you're
98.
okay.
But I
Yeah.
ended up like on most weekend nights working for the nightclub and then working for the haunt that was open all week, because that was really good money. And I was a Wolfman, so I was pretty happy about that. And I was the
Wow.
Wolfman of the rollerblading Wolfman of
I
downtown Orlando
I
for
can
many
see it.
years.
I can see it.
It was
Rollerblades were like a 95 thing. I'm just
it was a
telling you
good
because I
time.
had them too.
Have you donned the Wolfman costume recently?
Oh, well, see, I still like to play the Wolfman, so when we're open at dark hour, a lot of times I'll throw on my Wolfman costume and scare people. It's one of my favorite things, Yeah, that's me as a Wolfman. I mean,
So amazing.
I'm a huskier Wolfman than I used to be, but that
Menacing,
happens.
not husky, menacing.
Which honestly, that's why I started doing a lot of stilts, because if I'm chunky at 5'11", well, if I'm 7 foot tall, that's a pretty good girth,
Mhm.
Right.
I'm lengthening myself so I don't look as chubby. Stilts are slimming.
So, I may not know this story. Dan may know this story, but how did you meet Shannon?
Oh, damn it! You took my question.
Oh,
One
dang
that
it.
I don't know. So yes, your lovely wife.
Yes.
How did you meet her? And is
Okay.
she a haunter? I mean, I already know this answer, but
Well,
some people might
yes, she does haunted house stuff quite a bit. She used to be an avid haunted house goer. So Terror on Church Street ended up closing down. That nightclub ended up closing down, and I was working for Skull Kingdom, which was a year-round haunted house on I Drive in Orlando. Very much a tourist trap, but a great place to grow up. Great place to learn the ropes and figure things out. But year-round. And what I did not like about year-round was October was like Halloween was just another night at work. It was a busy night, but it turned into just another night at work because we had busier nights in July, because that's prime tourist season.
Right.
So I didn't like that. But I got 2 weeks vacation time. So what I ended up doing was every October, I would take 2 weeks of vacation and I would go to another haunted house somewhere in the country and work and learn, So I got to go to all these different places. Can I go off track? Is it okay if I go
whatever
off
you want.
track? All right. Back then, it was all
back then. When? What year? Give us some context here.
96, 97. Like the internet was still really new, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But back in the early days of haunting, you know, when I was really working a lot of other shows and doing stuff, it was I called it Goldfish Bowl haunting because every haunt was its own goldfish bowl. They never talked, and they wouldn't even let actors from another haunt into their show because they would steal their secrets. You know, they didn't like that was the attitude. But one haunted house would they developed drop windows. So they had drop windows, which was secret technology.
Mm.
And but they had 3 or 4 of those in their show and no one else had drop windows.
Wow.
And then a haunted house over there, like in another city, they developed the rattle can, you know. So they had like 5 or 6 rattle cans in their show. And what was funny was every time I went to a new haunted house as a haunted house actor, I had my own costume, I had my own stuff, you know.
Right.
And
Wolfman.
to some, even as like a 15, 16-year-old kid, I was an established entity of here's what I do. I'm the Wolfman. I do that.
Okay.
But I picked up gags from all the haunted houses. So I was looked at as like this haunt Yoda because I knew the other haunt's secrets. And
Wow.
but you know, it's like I didn't think it was a secret. Like I didn't, you know, it's a drop panel, man. It's a gate latch. You can do this.
Right.
And you know, so I would when I went there, I would say, oh, and I would help do sets and stuff, and I would incorporate the things that I knew and learned along the way. Um, but anyway, so yes, very much goldfish bowl haunting at that point in time.
Yeah.
Haunts didn't talk, you know, and I wanted to go and learn more stuff. So that's why I started traveling as much as I could in October to go to other haunted houses and you know learn different crowds and learn you know what to do and that kind of stuff. It was just such a great time. In 2001,
Uh-oh.
2001, I went to a haunted house in Texas, and I was a giant bat creature. I was a 14-foot wingspan, stilt quadruped costume, and that's what I was in. And I was also director of actors there because I was teaching their acting staff. It's because I did it all the time. I
Okay.
was teaching their acting staff, and but Shannon came through, and the moment that I saw her, no lie, I'm going to marry her. And it was just the clearest thought in my head. I knew it. Like everything kind of went black and white, but she was in color. And I'm like, wow, okay, like that, like hyper focus.
Right.
You know, I don't know if you've ever been tapped on the shoulder by God and said, hey, look at that. But that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to me whenever I was dating my husband. I swear to God, when you said tapped on the shoulder, that's exactly what happened
Yeah,
to me.
that's like,
I was
hey,
tapped on the
you
shoulder.
pay attention to that over there.
Right.
And yeah, like
Exactly.
that's what happened. And I'm a monster, and I take my haunting very seriously.
Right.
I'm not going to talk to her. You know, I never spoke to customers because I'm a monster. I'm a giant bat creature gargoyle.
Right.
But she had, because they were new, a digital camera. Like digital cameras were new back then, right?
Yeah.
This was 2001, you know, so they're still really new to the market.
Yeah.
And she was taking pictures of me and taking pictures of the haunt and stuff. And so I talked to a security guard backstage. I had the security guard go give her my email so that I could have copies. I didn't have any good pictures of my costume, and I would like to have the gargoyle
Well
monster would like to
played.
have pictures of his costume.
Oh,
for
Well
you.
played.
very slick.
And
Yeah.
and I ended every email with a question, so she had to write me
Ah,
back. But then my time was up. I moved back to Florida, and we talked through email and talked on the phone. And then in January, I was actually working for Universal. I was making a Velociraptor costume. I threw the half of Velociraptor costume into my car and drove to Texas, finished it in Texas, and mailed it back. And I moved to Texas. Yeah,
And
I
when was
lived in the
that? Was
haunted house
January
because I
of
arranged nothing. January 02, I guess.
2002? Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
let me ask though, when you guys were emailing, had she seen you? Did she know what you
No,
looked like?
No,
Oh.
because
It's so
through the
awesome.
emails, she came to the haunted house one more time, so she went through the haunt twice. So the first thing that the first words she ever said to me, I charge. Like, I'm a quadruped, so I
Yeah.
charge the group. Right, it's her and 3 other girls. I charge the group, and I get real close, and I throw my wings up in the air, just like a display of any threat display of an animal. And her friend screamed and ran, and she was like 3 feet face to face, and I'm above her, and she says, "You are beautiful." Like that. Those were her first words
I
to me,
can, I can
because
see
like,
your face right now.
and
Oh my god.
she said, later I found out like who she said was her boyfriend was the monster in the TV show Gargoyles, the Gargoyles, not the cartoon, but there was a made for TV movie, the Gargoyles, and she said when she was a kid, she pretended that was her boyfriend. So and I looked a lot like that monster, so I kind of lucked out on that one. Um, but yeah, I mean that's how I met her, and I met her in the haunt, and then I moved here for her, and I'm like, well, I can get hey, that's me. Look, I'm there. That's my face, and that's my wife. Um, yeah. Did that cover it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how we met, and then I was a little nuts, so she didn't let me know where she lived for like a year and a half.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she didn't let me because I was, you know, I'm a
Just drive around
focused person.
Texas.
I'm a focused person. The only way that I
Yeah.
knew to succeed was to doggedly do something until I was good at it. So that is how I treated our relationship, which isn't the best. And also, if you meet someone, this is for all the guys out there. If you meet someone who you know that you're going to marry, don't tell them on like the second phone call
Right.
because
Yeah, but it worked out for you.
they will. Yeah, yes, I
It
stalked her
worked
until
out.
it worked.
We did that. Honestly, we met, and 2 months later we were engaged. So
Yeah,
it
it's the
kind of
same with
worked.
my wife and I as
Kind of
well.
worked.
We met. I was dating somebody else, and we met, and then we knew right away. And it was 9 months later we were married, and 9 months after that we had our first child. So
There you go.
it's you know when you got the right one.
Hmm.
Well,
It totally
see,
makes sense.
now my wife, we have a big Renaissance festival here, and she had played the queen at the Renaissance festival for 10, 15 years, and she had been single like almost all this time, and she had a lot of suitors and stuff. So when I got to Texas, I had to go to the Renaissance festival and do some sword fighting to clean that crap up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. That's not a joke.
Did you ride in? Did you literally ride in and
So
and
what's because of who I am, obviously,
yes.
I played this hunchbacked character named Alfred, hunchback, like bad teeth, I wore like a black hood, and he was very close to a character that I played at Skull Kingdom, and I also I picked up a contract to do the Green Man stilt walking at the fair.
Mhm.
So I did that, and then when I wasn't up stilt walking, I was in my Alfred costume because again, I wanted to learn the actor workshops and stuff that they had, but ostensibly it was actually really to stalk my wife, who was didn't know she was my wife, but I did. Um, yeah, and it was weird, but it worked out. I learned a lot, and I got a wife.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I love that story because, yeah, I didn't know we were going to go down that path, but I'm enjoying it. I'm here
Well,
for it.
that's the thing. That was kind of my thought. I've been thinking about it the last couple of days while I've been formulating what I want to talk about, and everybody knows, Still Beast. Everybody knows Dark Hour. They know that part of Alan. And so I was like, I want to kind of, that's why even in the description, I was like, I want to get a little deeper and, maybe talk about some stuff that that he doesn't get the same questions all the time. What are you doing
Yeah.
in your shop today, Alan?
So,
Oh my
so
God.
something that I want to clarify: what Stilt Beast Studios has become in the past. Me and Shen have been married for 17 years now. So what Stilt Beast has become in the past 10 years, it's because of her. I can
Right.
only achieve so much success. I am inherently a little bit chaotic.
Yeah.
I'm an artist. I make stuff, and you could see the shop behind me. It's crazy. There's things everywhere.
Mhm.
You can see there's people working in the background because it's a shop and it's Trans World time. Hey, Rue, spin the gnome around. But this is the chaos that those are all masks waiting to get done.
Is that Rue? That's Rue.
And
Hi.
that's Rue and
Yeah.
that's Leslie, who, if you at Trans World, you'll see them both in my booth.
Oh yes.
And they're here working on stuff. And that's a gnome costume that you guys are kind of the first ones to see it, aside from my
Nice.
live channel. But you see out of the hat.
Oh, cool.
See, so
That is so cool.
but there's a certain amount of chaos that I am.
Yeah.
And she organizes my chaos enough to allow for greater success.
Right.
And don't find a partner who does exactly what you do. Find
Mhm.
someone who does what you do poorly. Find someone who does that well. And me and Shannon are a great example of that, because we're not good at the same stuff. She's a great artist. She's a great actress,
Mhm.
but she's also organized, and she has a calendar brain. I don't ever know what day it is. It's I wake up and I have positive creative energy, and she points me in the right direction and says, I'm like, what am I doing today, honey? Oh, well, you have Monster Camp. People come from all over the country to learn how to make masks in your shop. Go. Okay,
Right.
great. And I might not have known that, a day before, but I'm ready for it,
Yep.
Okay, so we will now we will pivot a little bit into the stuff that everybody knows, but I heard that you're doing something different with Dark Hour this year. Are you changing up?
He's always changing.
Well, I know, but did you get rid of the asylum?
Yes. All right. So
Okay.
at Dark Hour, we had about a 5,000 square foot space that was the Asylum Haunted House, a second attraction.
Right.
And we've dropped the second attraction. We're doing 2 escape rooms in there. And we have taken over about 3,000 square feet of it to make Dark Hour bigger. So we're adding a lot of show space to Dark Hour. We have a witch theme, and during the pandemic, I wanted to put as positive of a spin on the pandemic as I possibly could in every way possible.
Mhm.
So I thought, what does a haunter want the most? Time. We always want more time. During the pandemic, I had time. So I designed my butt off, and I thought about, how can I present Dark Hour in the best possible way? Let's really think out this show and not just throw it together with what we have or whatever. So there's 13 witches that make up the Dark Hour Coven, and now each witch has a chunk of the show, like dedicated to them. And there's a couple chunks that are dedicated just like to the Coven itself. So 2 witches are getting space in where the asylum was. Annabelle Noir, who is the demon speaker, is what she's called. So it's like possession. So think of The Conjuring, and she's like a colonial American vibe, the witch herself. And then like the movie The Witch, kind of, she feels a little bit that way. And then Corva Hive, the Witch of Swarms, is an Egyptian witch, and so she is getting a big area in the show.
So you're just so you won't have 2.
We will not have 2 shows.
It's just one giant show.
Yes.
Okay.
For the number of people that we do, having 2 lines doesn't make sense. Okay. I want you to go through one good size show.
Yeah.
I think people get numb after about 35, 40 minutes. So I won't go over that. I think right now we're going to be about 32 minutes to get through. And I feel good about that. We had too many people last year. Too many people came to the show. So this was really fun. I've never seen another haunt do this. I'm very blessed. Dark Hour is like a playground for me.
Right.
If I have a crazy haunt idea, I get to do it at Dark Hour. And this is a geodesic dome, and it's a kit right off of the internet. I bought a geodesic dome kit, and we put it on top of 8-foot walls, and this is a big cave set. So that's what you're kind of on top of it now, and all of this interior is a cave. And this is me recycling. That's other cave sheets from other caves that we've done. Um, but they all get put on, and then we foamed this whole thing. Did I go?
Yeah, I saw
I
it.
just
When
started
I
watching the
was there in
video.
July.
Damn it, Troy! And I'm
You're
standing
putting
there staring at
interesting
it. Like,
things up there.
yeah.
I'm just kind of watching the video now.
Right?
But yeah, and if you look, there's a channel like right where the dome starts. See that like little channel there off to the left? It's all the way around, and that's to put lighting in so that we can shoot light up on the dome. And so that canvas goes up, and then we sprayed that with spray foam. Fun stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
We like to make stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
It's one of my. It's.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean,
it's one of
going
my
through
favorite haunted
in
attractions.
July with you,
Okay.
it was to hear you talk about how you did all these things, like and I'm pretty sure I told you at the end of it was that when you walk through Dark Hour with Alan, all you hear is pride, and from everybody that works there, that's all you hear. You don't hear, oh yeah, this is my job, this is what I do. I mean, it's like they're so excited to talk to you about it for hours, and I mean, if you want to talk haunt, go hang out at Dark Hour for a couple hours. It's just I mean,
If
there's
you're
so
lucky,
much.
you won't get
pride
out
in
of there
what
in a
they're
couple
doing.
hours. Are you kidding me?
No, that's true.
I think I'm kind of associated with making your own stuff now, and we kind of have a culture of we make our own masks at Dark Hour. We make our own foam latex prosthetics. We have costumers, and we make our own costume. We do almost everything in house. It's a little bit weird sometimes because like Alan sells costumes to haunted houses all over, but
Right.
I might do a pull from one of my molds and take it to Dark Hour, but it doesn't make sense for me to charge Dark Hour for something that I already sell. And also I kind of feel like other people already have it because I've sold it to them. And I don't want you to see stuff in Dark Hour that other people have. So we normally end up making like our own version or different things.
So I have a question. It's related to Dark Hour, and it's a question that you never answered. I don't know if you're gonna remember this. The last time we walked through your attraction and we went through everything, I noticed that all the clocks have different times on them. Never gave me an answer. And this is how Alan Hops works for everybody that's watching. He messes with you all the time. And
There's a
this is how he
reason.
knows it works, because I don't know, what is this now going on 3 years? Alan, why are all the clocks different? Does that have any significant meaning?
Yes. Yeah. It's you can't go travel through space and not travel through time. But also there's significant things that happen at different times. And
Right.
the witching hour is at a different time. If you're going through in Dallas, Texas, the witching hour for that witch who's a German witch is a different time of day. The
That's
witching
level of
hour
detail.
the witching hour for the witch from China, the Qi Lung, the dragon witch, that time is, that's like, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so the witching hour for each realm that they're from is where it makes sense.
I
Right?
love you, Alan.
That's
Yeah,
that's
totally
crystal
makes sense.
clear.
Yeah, 3 years later. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
3 years later.
But this is how Alan works. Like, it's not just I build sets. He knows the psychology of scaring. He knows the psychology of getting in people's heads to do things. Like, if you go to one of his attractions, it's not just, oh wow, oh I'm scared. It's like, wait, what just happened? And you think about it. And even when you're walking through with the lights on and you're asking questions, he knows how to.
I want to make you think.
Yes, he knows how to make you think. That's a great way to put it. It's a great way to put it. And
we talked about all the stuff that I did to get better at haunting. One of the things that I did when I lived in Maryland for 6 years, I took ninjutsu because they can hide good, and the concept of ninja mind control. I loved that concept. And that was why I kind of picked that martial art to learn, was because I wanted those things. I'm climbing, I'm hiding, that's all haunt stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so mentioning that, I want to pimp one of my classes at Transworld. I know we're kind of
Yes.
running down.
No,
on
you're
time,
fine. Absolutely. That was gonna be
s-
my next thing. Was
But the class that I want to pimp is actually, it's called "I'm Selling Drugs and the Customers Love It." And
That's awesome.
here is why. Especially like post-pandemic, they're not even necessarily coming to the haunted house to get scared. They're coming to buy dopamine. They're coming
Get
to
out.
buy
Yep.
serotonin.
Mhm.
So what specifically can we do to release more serotonin, to release more dopamine,
Mhm.
to release more adrenaline? Because there are a lot of like things out there in the world that have happened, and people study this kind of stuff, and people have done big studies lately on why people turn to horror during the pandemic. You might seem like you turn it off, but when you finish watching a horror movie, you feel like you survived something. I've said for years in actor training, an antelope never feels more alive than when it just gets away from a lion. you know that's when the antelope's like, yes, I'm doing great today.
Mhm.
And you see that in your customers. They run out of the haunt screaming, and they run and they stop and they laugh, and there's this exhale, and that's serotonin rushing in because they survived. But studies linking dopamine and serotonin, and what do you know why Tinder has the swipe left and swipe right?
No, but you're gonna tell us.
Yeah, because Angry Birds broke huge barriers in games because girls liked playing Angry Birds. And it's because the finger motion of swiping releases serotonin.
Oh my god, that's so screwed up.
That's
So,
so awesome.
but that information made Tinder pick, here's how you're going to pick through people.
It's like
You're
a
going to
game.
swipe left and swipe right.
And now
Yeah.
every haunted attraction should to make their app swipe
Mhm.
left or swipe right.
And how does every time-wasting app make
Oh
you
my
stay
god.
on? Think about it.
Swipe,
You're
swipe,
I'm
swipe.
on
Absolutely.
TikTok. I'm
Yep.
on Instagram
Mhm.
Reels. I'm on the finger swipe. And it's revelation serotonin.
right.
You know how like in any movie scene where there's an archaeologist and they're brushing something away, like people lean into the screen to see what are
Yep.
they uncovering.
Right. You're like angling to see. Yeah.
Yeah. What am I uncovering? It's
Mhm.
discovery serotonin. Yeah.
The mind
But
of
that's
Alan.
something, how do you work that into haunts?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Well,
there's so
we're gonna
many,
find out if we go
Yeah.
to the
Find out.
we go,
yeah,
if we
there's
go to the
so many things that are just crazy. A haunting concept that's not a haunting concept that I love is Tesla invented a water valve with no moving parts. And if you look up Tesla's water valve, all right, it's an image, and basically it's all these different choices for the water to go down this little channel thing. And if the water is going one direction, it flows no problem. But if it goes the other way, it has to make so many choices, it doesn't. It's the water stops. There's no moving parts in it. So why can't you look at how that's built and make your hallways that way, and make it, lay it out,
Yep.
your choices in the haunt, so it's harder for the guests to do, or be able to flip those walls 15 degrees on the busy nights and the customers flow better. Put your whole show on a dimmer. We're backed up, brighten the lights, 5 10 degrees, and then it's brighter, and then the people move a little faster. It's, I don't know, I love that aspect of haunting, of learning how people work and why and all that. That's Tesla's water valve. So if you watch it go one way, see all the choices it has to make and how slow that takes, then it shoots back the other direction because of, that's the Tesla valve. Neat stuff.
neat stuff.
But if you're going that way, you're like, which way do I go? And then if you're going the other way, it's like, oh yeah, easy.
I see.
Yeah.
And now imagine an actor on the outside of each one of those loops. He can hit you coming and going, because
yeah.
even though he's going, a little bit around further, they're taking time making a choice.
Yeah.
That really isn't even a choice.
Right. Wow. It's all about flow.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I knew I was a haunter from the age of 10, and all I do is I think about haunted houses. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
And anything else you think of, how can you apply it to that?
Right.
Yes. Yes. I want to meet a plumber who then became a haunted house owner, because what did he bring? What experiences did he bring to haunting to make his haunt unique? I want to meet someone who, does drywall or does computer programming and then came into haunting, because what did they bring with them?
Yeah.
To make their show unique. And
Mhm.
that's, if I can learn those things, that's great.
How many classes are you doing at Transworld?
5.
Are you
Yeah,
going to be
like
on the
2
show
every
for it
day.
all? That's a lot. Of
Right?
classes.
Well, I figure I'm going to lose about 10 hours out of my booth, because
Right.
it takes
Yep.
about half an hour. You got to leave half an hour early, get to the class,
Talk to
do the
people.
class, and you got to talk to people for a while, and then go back to my booth, and then go to the next class. Yeah. I'm teaching a lot this year, but I had time. You know what I mean? I had a lot of time to think about haunting, and the industry has been through some crap, and one of the classes I'm teaching is what good came out of COVID for haunts? What positives can we draw from it? And there's a lot. There's a
There's a
ton.
lot. There's a
Mhm.
lot.
So yeah,
That's on
I'm
Saturday.
teaching a bunch. Yeah.
So
Troy,
otherwise,
are you going to his class? Any of his classes, Troy?
Yeah. Yep. I will be. My plan, because this is my first year at Transworld.
Hooray.
And I am literally just going to latch onto people and go as many places as I can.
Latch onto people. That's scary.
Wait, he muted me. What?
I totally muted you because I know this is gonna be a 20-minute conversation.
No, it's not. But most people know that I'm not a pro hunter. I build a lot of my own stuff. So the vendors have changed over the years at Transworld, but a lot of the stuff is geared towards the pro hunt industry. It's a lot of bigger props, a lot of, but a lot of those vendors have also started to bring smaller stuff, some cash and carry things. So I think it'll be quite the experience for me that, that it's going to be everything.
You're going to love it. You're going to
Yeah.
love it. It's amazing. Yep. I went to my first Transworld when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I'm finding a way to come here every year. And the next year I came back with a mask company because I knew I couldn't afford unless someone was paying me to be there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just going to go to classes and the events, and I'm just going to experience the whole thing. And
it's a great show.
So really it's going to be, that's one of my haunt mantras is that it's for myself, but I would love it if other people did it, is that I think everybody should go to every one of these shows and experience it, because every one of them has a niche and has something that the other one doesn't offer. And I would love it if vendors would do that as well, just because you never know. There are a lot of people that go to these shows that don't go to any other show. There's Texas haunters that don't go to any other show. They just go to Texas or West Coast or MHC, and they don't travel outside of it, so you're maybe missing some, but at the same time as attendees, you're also missing education.
I've been to a lot of shows.
Yeah.
And Transworld is about stuff. And the smaller shows are about people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the value that I get from Transworld mostly is stuff. If I meet you at Transworld, I hate to say this, there's a lot of rubber cement in my life. I may not remember your name.
Right.
So like meeting someone, oh, I met you at Transworld. Oh, was that the year that I met 300 people?
Yeah.
Or 900 people?
Right.
And that's, I hate to say that, that's what it's like. And when I'm at Transworld, my brain is on other things, so I don't have the door of meeting people open all the time. I try, but that door's not accessible, and my brain is very compartmentalized. And then at a smaller show, I'm not as worried about stuff. And
Yeah.
You could sit and talk to people. And what I get out of those shows are relationships.
Yeah.
Now, do those people come to Transworld and sometimes buy stuff from me? Yes, because we had an awesome conversation, and maybe I helped them with a picket fence pumpkin problem, at one of those shows, and then because of that, they come by at Transworld and say hey, and maybe they support the business. That's what it's about.
Symbiotic relationship.
If you know a vendor right now, by the way, like offer to pay for their coffee, because all vendors are broke right now. We're it's, just getting ready for the show, getting the booth, the insurance, and I'm hotel. I'm bringing a lot of people this year.
Yeah,
hotels have gone up.
Yes,
they're expensive.
Yes, they have, especially in the St. Louis area. Very expensive.
Put on the short shorts and sell some stilts.
There you go. So we have come to the part of the show where I will start plugging your stuff for you.
Great. Yeah, I'm terrible at it.
So you have, of course, you have Dark Hour. It's Dark Hour Haunt and on Facebook. You've got the darkhourhauntedhouse.com. Ironically, I was about to message you yesterday because the other day this was down, and I was like, I need this up by Tuesday night.
We were fixing it. We were fixing a thing.
But it's back up, so we're good. And so, of course, if you're in the Texas area in October, this is the show, one of the shows to go to, if not the show to go to. And of course, you've got Stilt Beast Studios, which is at Stilt Beast, and they do Monster Camp. We didn't really get a touch on that this time, but Monster Camp is something you do. What, you do that 4 times a year, or?
I do it as often as I can. Like whenever I have a good hole in the schedule, Okay. Let's do a monster camp and teach people how to make masks. Good times.
These were the latest ones that when I saw the mushroom face one, I was like, wow, that's going to be hard to mold to get out of that.
Nah. Molding is easier than people think.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It looks
in monster camp.
It looks amazing.
In the next episode.
Right. So, and of course you can go to stiltbeaststudios.com. You can buy some of the masks that he has. That's where you can get information on the Monster Camp, as well as actor training and anything else you want to know from that part of the company. And of course you have the plethora of YouTube videos that you literally can type. If you've ever typed in something into YouTube, like how can I make this channel will be in the first 10 videos.
Yep.
I wanted to build a library so haunted houses, if they wanted to make something, they could find a way to do it.
Yeah.
I wanted a video library for that purpose.
And you've done it.
And I appreciate it because I feel like that, it takes time, obviously, for you to make every one of these videos, and you just upload them on YouTube for anybody to have access to. Yes. And I think that is such a gift to the haunt industry because it
is a huge gift.
It's huge.
I wish I had more time to make more.
Speaking of huge gifts, I have to say this. It was one of those wow moments for me when I own a haunted house and we were doing something. We always followed YouTube Wednesdays, and you had made a video. You made a video on how to make fake blood, the blood with glue, with clear glue. And I was so mind blown that it looked so real. And we did it. And we're like, why didn't we think of this? Like, why didn't we think of this sooner? Because it's so simple. But then at the same point in time, we're like, wow, do you think he's going to get any flack from, these other blood makers, in the industry for like coming up with an alternative? Because when we learned that, there it is right there. When we learned that, it was like, man, this is so simple and it's so cost effective. Do you ever get flack for releasing like information like this? Do you ever get like, hey dude, why are you doing this when I'm trying to sell my stuff? That was one question I did want to ask before we head out.
Yes, I do. I do get flack about that sometimes. And this has always been my stance on it. When everybody knows the techniques, what will separate us is our ideas. So if you have good ideas, you'll be fine. But if you're churning out Clown 47 and Slipknot mask number 98. Maybe you won't do so well when everybody knows how to sculpt and mold.
Right.
But if you have good ideas,
Originality.
we're in this. We were in a terrible kind of rut where haunt vendors were listening to haunt owners about what they should make. And I'd see them ask, like, Haunters Hangout, huge audience. I don't know how many members they have now, but what if they kind of crept at like 40,000 for a long time. And haunt vendors would go on and said, "I'm going to be a vendor. What should I make?" And I never did, but I always wanted to say, please don't vend because you don't have ideas.
Right.
Yeah.
And our job as a haunt vendor is, here's the line of popular design. We make them step 1 foot over it. 2 feet over it, your stuff's too weird and no one's going to buy it. 1 foot over it, and it's brilliant. And it's our job to drag them forward into good design.
Right.
It's not our job to regurgitate the same thing over and over. But this clown has blue hair. It's completely different. No.
Well, and that's what I've always said about people who will say, well, I'm making this prop and it is something that somebody else sells. Well, not everybody can afford it. And if they can make it on their own, they're going to make it differently, and they're going to make it their own idea, their own way. They may have used your idea and said, yes, I like this, but I need it to do just this, and they can't spend the $1,000 or $2,000 or the $500, whatever it is. In the end, they probably spent that much in materials anyways, but
So now under Stilt Beast Studios, it says, put your haunt in beast mode. What it used to say under Stilt Beast Studios logo was so different, it's scary. And what was different is, here's a secret. I want to get copied. I make products that I think the haunt industry needs. I'm trying to step right over that line. The haunt industry needs this, so I'm going to make and sell it. If other vendors then pick it up, I get to do my next thing.
Right.
I can't make all the stuff I have ideas for before I'm dead. Like, I'm not going to run out of ideas because I think about haunting all the time. I'm not going to run out of ideas. So steal my ideas. That's fine. I'll make more. And that's I've been pretty successful there. I've been able to drop a lot of products that I kind of brought in and that other people picked up and ran away with, and I think that's great. It lets me do new stuff.
Right.
I agree. So I'm going to leave it with this. And I don't know if this is your invention or your idea or not, but it's just an idea that's always stuck with me. Is Butthole Bear ever coming back?
Butthole
was
Bear
that your
is
idea?
not coming back. It's not coming back. No.
Okay.
No. That was I started doing the scary teddy bears, and then Jay, who worked with me, he's like, we're making a Butthole Bear, and I said, I hate it, but we did. Yeah.
All right, let's jump. Do we have a couple questions? Do we want to talk about?
This guy in Nebraska, I don't know who he is. Wants to know if you ever got the vision of this Mr. Unicorn out of your brain. I don't know who Mr. Unicorn is. I don't know what that is.
No comment.
The silence is deafening.
Why would I want to get that out of my brain? That's fuel right there.
That's fuel.
That's fuel.
Creative fuel.
Creative
fuel. You've heard it here first.
But other than that, no, we've just had Mr. Allen has the best stories and advice, which totally agree with. Tina also said that she appreciates the psychology behind things that Allen talks about. And I think that's a big part of you, is the psychology behind it, and maybe the psycho part of it.
Mike Ross says the first Allen video was the one that he did on making snakes.
Snakes.
Yeah. So, well, there is not enough time to talk to you. There's always, I mean,
I mean, we could sit here for hours.
Oh
right, you can do it again.
No kidding.
Right. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, well, I will preemptively wish you luck at Transworld.
Thank you.
I will see you there, and that and everything you're doing the rest of this year with Dark Hour and Still Piece. So I
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Come
Thank you.
see me and say hi.
I will.
Thank you, Alan, for coming on. Do you have anything else to plug or say anything before we head out of here?
Nah, I'm all over the internet. You'll find me.
I'm good.
It's not like I'm hiding.
All right. Well, before we head out